donors and blood banks. Today, it is commonplace to find hospitals without robust blood banks, and general attitude of the public over voluntary blood donation is not helpful either. The National Baseline Data Survey and Blood Transfusion indicates that in the public sector, donor population was made up of 25% commercial donor and 75% of replacement donors, while voluntary and paid donors were negligible. Inadequate fund has also impeded the operation of the National Blood Transfusion Service. It requires $5 million to ensure steady, robust, safe blood banks across the country. But the major international donor, the United States of America, which had supported the service for 10 years, withdrew the support in June 2015. 2 years after, in June this year, the federal government approved 28 million naira to meet the operational target of the National Blood Transfusion Service. Reports also show that 34% of pregnant women die in labor as a result of complications of bleeding and lack of blood for transfusion in Nigeria. Blood and blood components are required every day to save thousands of lives in our hospitals. At the moment, with Nigeria's level of healthcare delivery, it is estimated that about 1.5 million units of blood are required generally per annum. Now, I will first talk to you, Majid. What has been your experience with blood donation?
Well, the only experience I have about blood donation was when a relative of mine was about to go into the theater for a cesarean session, and we were asked to get blood. We actually had to pay for blood. We went to buy from, I think, a public hospital or so. We paid anyway, and so far that has been my only experience with anything to do with blood transfusion. Really, we bought blood.
How affordable was it?
Affordability is relative here, but at that time, it cost quite some money. But well, affordability again, as I said, is quite a relative term. For some people, it's available, some is not. But the fact is that we paid, and we paid quite some money. Okay. Yes, quite some money.
Well, Harry Spice, what's your own experience with blood donation?
Yeah, as an advocate, I've been exposed to the issues of blood safety, blood donation, and the challenges in Nigeria. I've been an advocate for years. I've worked closely with the National Blood Transfusion Service. I remember how it used to be a very challenging thing to have people come donate blood. But over the time that was, cleared, people now were open to donating blood. More recently, there have been like a crisis in the blood safety issue in Nigeria because the American government withdrew its funding, and Nigeria, or the National Blood Transfusion, is left at the mercy of no intervention. From what I gather from the grapevine, there's no budgetary allocation for this intervention. And because of the critical nature of blood, just like Majid said, people are buying blood which is not supposed to be so. Blood is priceless. You don't buy blood. People donate voluntarily, so it's expected that it should be given out freely. But trust our Shylock nature in Nigeria, hospitals are cashing in on, innocent patients. People spend like 20,000 naira to get blood from hospitals. And even without recourse to the existence of NBTS. From the NBTS, you can actually get blood for maybe 2,000–3,000 naira. But when you get to the hospitals, you'll be asked to rescreen this blood at almost 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 naira. Now, a patient is struggling to, pay hospital bill. It's subjected to paying nearly 20,000 to have blood rescreened. So it's been a very big challenge in Nigeria, and government needs to wake up, do something fast, otherwise it's going to be a crisis.
Okay. The World Health Organization insists that 1% blood donation by 1% of the population can meet a nation's most basic requirements for blood. The WHO also says 57 countries are currently collecting 100% of their blood supply from voluntary unpaid blood donors, with 112.5 million blood donations collected globally. and half of these are in high-income countries. The focus on this year's World Blood Donor Day that passed in June was on blood donation in emergencies with the slogan, "What can you do?" Now, this is bringing me back to one of the major problems of blood donation in Nigeria, which is the lack of voluntary blood donors and blood banks. There is no, I don't think that there has been so much education on blood donation and how it can, what it helps, how it can help, how people can help, because there have been specifications or specific conversations where you see people say, "Oh, I don't want to donate blood because I don't trust the equipment. I don't trust that they are sterilized. How do I know that if I go in to donate blood that I will not come home with another disease?" Some other people who tend towards the traditional conversation say, "I don't know what my blood will be used for," or some other people say, "For the fact that my blood will be sold, I don't want to donate blood." It brings us back to the situation where I remember a story that I was told, where someone went into the hospital for an emergency, and the close relative was asked to donate blood. And in the event that the emergency situation was averted and the patient was discharged and they didn't use the blood, the hospital now sells the blood to someone else. So these are the situations that have made people develop a lukewarm attitude towards blood donation. Now, one of the things I will ask is, why do you think that, or what's your take on the government stand in blood donation?
Okay, the National Blood Transfusion, I'm not speaking for them, but I gathered from available information, exists to regulate issues of blood safety and services in Nigeria. They are the government-mandated body that regulate this. It is the NBTS has centers across the country where people go to donate blood voluntarily. When the NBTS exists to discourage, indiscriminate donor blood collection center, and that is why they exist. Hospitals also collect blood, no doubt, but we're talking about real government regulation is the NBTS. And at the NBTS, I think they have the approved WHO standard of blood collection. You don't just go there and they take your blood. You'll be subjected to some minimal medical, checks, knowing about, because you need to be healthy before you donate blood. So if we must maintain the issue of safety, I think the NBTS is fully prepared and equipped to do that. But talking about the misconceptions, that actually existed even before now. And I think they've done a lot of education in that respect. During the unfortunate incidents of the bomb blasts everywhere in Nigeria, Nigerians actually responded overwhelmingly by becoming blood donors. That increased, the rate of voluntary blood donors in Nigeria. The awareness was just everywhere. You could see people talking about.
No, but you see, just because for an emergency situation, people rallied around to donate blood, I'm asking about what the government has done itself to educate people, one, on the benefits of donating blood and how it can help, and how to also create structures to create a safe environment for blood donors, and thirdly, to encourage blood donation and to also dissuade the sale of blood.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I say the NBTS exists, to regulate blood collection.
But they haven't been able to do this.
I won't say they've not been able to do it. They've been funded by the American government through the PEPFAR, intervention fund, and which they've been doing for a long time until recently when, the policy changed. And now the NBTS, I learned it's at the mercy of, self-survival kind of. In Nigeria, there's no budgetary allocation to their office. And so it's running more like a skeletal or body.
Recently, the federal government approved 28 million naira for them.
I wouldn't know how much that will will do, but you should know what 20 something million naira would do to blood services in Nigeria. We're talking about 36 state plus the FCT 37, then about 160 or 170 million Nigerians.
Majid, you
just
seem
funny.
to be quiet on this conversation because it's not political or because it's not what. Now, seeing as blood is blood, and blood is what connects us all in this country, everybody has blood running through their veins. Unless, I don't know, Majid, is there something else you're pumping through your veins that we need to know about? Since as blood is what connects us, is it not something that we as a country should take seriously? It's not something that the federal government should, take seriously and talk about, because it seems like it is an option for the federal government.
Well, of course, we cannot overemphasize the importance of blood. Life itself runs on blood. I mean, the blood is blood. In fact, life begins from a clot of blood.
Sure.
So, well, I think in this case, we may be hampered by some cultural and probably religious beliefs too, practices. Of course, I know of some
The
religious
federal
groups.
government is hampered.
No, I'm talking about the people now.
No, I'm talking about the federal government now.
Well, what I think the federal government can do is just increase funding, at least adequate funding for this program, since the international donors appear to have withdrawn funding for such programs, and the people too should be sensitized more.
No, but you see, the thing I'm
donate.
asking is that it seems like the federal government did not even has not considered the issue of blood transfusion as important enough. I'm not asking what they are going to do now.
Well, thank
I'm
God
asking why is it that it looks like the federal government is not even taking it as a serious conversation, seeing as there is a bill in National Assembly, the National Blood Transfusion Bill currently before National Assembly, and they are begging them, to be able to look at this thing and pass it and let's sign it.
I'm sure with at least we are discussing it now. We're making it public. We're bringing the awareness to both government and the people now. So I'm sure if we sustain this advocacy, if we sustain this awareness, I'm sure both the government and the people will now come to realize the importance of, this very important building block of life itself, the source of life itself and the sustain of life. So I'm sure we need to emphasize more on the need. We need to do more of sensitization and lobbying in the case of the National Assembly. I would like to see interest groups, NGOs, come together and lobby the National Assembly and make them see why they need to pass this bill, on time, so that lives can be saved.
You still didn't answer my question, but I'm going to allow Harris Price to talk about it. Why do you think that the issue of blood donation has not been, or the blood services unit, or basically the topic of blood donation, affordability, supply, has not been on the primary plate of the federal government? Because it seems like this is something that, we talk about it today and the government says, well, we'll do something about it, and they forget about it.
And I think it has to do with priority issue. Maybe the ministry or Minister of Health didn't see blood issue as a serious agenda on his program, so that's why they're not giving it the necessary attention it deserves. But we should not forget the fact that everything about the hospital business, I'm not a medical doctor, revolves around blood. For a pregnant woman who needs to deliver, you need a blood. For the accident victims, they also need blood. For anemic patients, they also need blood. During surgical procedures, you need blood. So blood is just more like the life wire of health, or health management, if I may use that word. I'm really shocked that it's taking forever for the bill to be passed into law. I'm surprised that just 22 million naira was allocated. 28 million naira was allocated for the blood service in Nigeria. I really wish I have an informed position where I can actually give reason why government is really not serious or not too serious about the blood safety.
The number to call is 081 89 99 1011. Let's take it again. 081 89 99 1011. We will be talking about blood transfusion. But now, you see, my conversation to you, Majid, before I start to pick up calls, is that some adherents of some faith do not accept blood donation and transfusion. What what's your thoughts on that?
It's a thing of faith, and in matters of faith, it will require, for me, an intra-faith dialogue. Members of the faith will have to come out and probably see the need to change that doctrine to allow for, to accommodate, and somebody needs to now make it not look like a sin or something against God to accept blood transfusion or donation in this case. So it's an intra-faith thing that has to happen, because let's look at it. They have to now rationalize it within the faith in trying to readjust the doctrine to now accommodate blood transfusion and donation. So it's an intra-faith thing. Somebody from outside that faith may not be able to do much, really. But I know and I believe that with sustained advocacy, it might trigger that intra-faith dialogue within such religious groups that do not allow or do not permit blood donation or transfusion.
Okay, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll start to take calls and take your comments. Do remember that you can drop your contributions and your comments on our Facebook page at Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and also on Twitter at HRights Radio, Drop your comments and contributions. When we come back from our break, we will be reading them out and talking about it with you. Do stay tuned.
Your right, my right, our right, everybody's right is protected. Human Rights Radio 101.1, redefining broadcasting.
It's about that time.
This is Human Rights Radio 101.1, redefining broadcasting.
In its bid to support the government in reducing unemployment in Nigeria, 101.1 Human Rights Radio is empowering 2,000 freelance canvassers who will market our brand across Nigeria and beyond. We are determined to support the government in reducing unemployment.
Interested candidates are advised to drop their applications and CVs at the Human Rights Radio Station, plot 1184, Kora District, beside Games Village, Abuja.
Please note, members of the public approached by any of our freelance canvassers are please advised to observe the following instructions before engaging the services of these freelance canvassers. Request for Human Rights Official Freelance Canvassers ID card. Every freelance canvasser is required to make a call and have you speak with our official marketer, who will confirm if you are dealing with a registered canvasser. You will be required to come to the Human Rights Radio Station in person, accompanied by the freelance canvasser. Our office is located at plot 1184, Kaura District, besides Games Village, FCT Abuja, Nigeria. For international clients, kindly send a representative to the same office address. Human Rights Radio will not be held responsible for monies paid to any canvasser or anyone at all if the above instructions are not followed. Human Rights Radio.
Redefining broadcasting.
All right, welcome back to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. It is your favorite socio-political and economic program, X-Ray. And today we are talking about blood donation and the challenges facing blood donation via affordability and supply. Like I said earlier, this year's slogan, as for the World Blood Donor Day, was Give Blood, Give Now, Give Often. Let's take some calls, then we will talk more. Hello? Hi, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Omar calling from Abuja.
All right, Omar, talk to me.
I think this issue about blank donation. I'm a blood donor. Hello.
I'm here. I'm listening to you. Wow. Okay, do try and call us back. 08189991011. Now, I was talking about give blood, give now, give often. The question is, what effect does this slogan have on Nigerians? You know, we talk about it, we say it, but what effect has it had on Nigerians? Yeah,
it's life it's meant to be lived, and only those who are healthy enjoy life. By the time we begin to see others as ourselves, life becomes very interesting. That is why the need to donate blood for those in need becomes very important.
Hello.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
I'm Khaled Raymond, calling from Central Area, Abuja.
All right, talk to me, sir.
Yeah, the issue of blood donation, I think is not priority to our government. Because if a federal government can be able to allocate 28 million naira towards that cost, now, is that money for advocacy, or is that money for buying vehicles, or money for paying salary, or what? Now, you see, I belong to an organization, Rotary International. Rotary International has been supporting this cause for a very long time. Even on last week, I can't remember the date particularly, we went on advocacy and blood donations. It is the primary responsibility of Rotary. It's part of our core areas. So the government have a lot to do towards that. There is need for advocacy. Otherwise, this thing is not something that should be swept under the carpet.
All right, sir.
It's a very important issue. Our governments are always reactive. In other countries of the world, the West are always reactive. They hear something is going to happen, they put measures. But our government will wait for that thing to happen before they will take measures.
All right, there. Thank you so
Somebody is waiting for bomb blast to happen for them to call for blood donation so that people will start donating. What level of advocacy do we have towards blood donation?
All right, sir. Thank you so much for that call. You can call us 08189991011. I'll take the number again, 08189991011. Harris Spice, you were talking about
Yes,
something.
I was talking about the need to donate blood by human beings, not just Nigerians. You don't know who you're saving. Your blood may end up saving the life of that pregnant woman in Oshogo. When you donate blood, you create that bond of humanity. That is why people are encouraged to donate voluntarily. When you do that, you're saving lives. You don't know the life of whom you're saving.
Okay, just hold that thought. Hello, good morning.
My name is Joelia. I'm calling from Abuja.
Your name is?
Joelia. I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, talk to me.
See, this issue of blood donation, I think the issue is primarily on individuals' love for each other. If you ask the government to fund, what are they funding? Is there a way of buying the blood? Are they producing the blood? What we should do is to make sure there's a lot of awareness to individuals that this thing is very, very important. There should be voluntary donors. I have been in a position of looking for blood quite okay. I know how difficult it is. What we have mostly is donors for my relations. But if you can make people aware that you need to go to blood bank if you are ready, at least give one bank, even if it's once in 6 months, we should have something in the bank.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good morning. Hello? 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 Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, sir. What's your name, sir?
This is Ifeanyi, representing the principal of Buhari area.
Ifeanyi, how are you now?
Very fine.
How business?
Very fine. How is work?
Work is great. Ifeanyi, talk to me.
Thank you. The issue on this court is a good one. But the only thing I keep on emphasizing on this program is that the government needs to do more on sensitizing of the public. When the public know the extent to which they should donate blood for blood transfusion to take place and be effective, people will voluntarily do this thing without subjection or force. As for the money they have allocated for this program, I don't think it is too bad because it is meant for publicity, for all those expenditures that will be done in trying to bring this sensitization.
But we don't know that it is
just
for sensitization. Do you know that it's for sensitization?
Yes.
Oh, you know?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, they should take this campaign to the grassroots.
Okay.
As you and I speak from Abuja here, my old grandmother in the village does not know that it is not a crime for one's blood to be infused into another person's system. In fact, in some cultures, they see it as a taboo.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So, but we should take this campaign to the people on the grassroots. Firstly, I'm still waiting for my gift that I want last week.
You did not come now. Come and collect it now.
Okay. Well, if I see your test, I will come.
If you see my face.
I thought, no, your test.
No, come to the station just next to Games Village. Come and collect it. I'll be here.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you. Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, sir. What's your name?
I'm Matthew.
Matt, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling here in the live campus.
All right. Talk to me, Mr. Matthew.
Okay. I'm a volunteer.
Okay.
Already, I've donated about 12 times. But I have a problem now. One thing, man, that you can't find it. I don't know whether they can help me out to give me one.
What did you say?
I think my wife is pregnant, and they said you have to donate blood in the hospital, general hospital.
Yeah.
But my blood and stone are not the same thing.
Okay, but your blood and her own is not the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm wondering whether they can help me out to give me a minimum package.
Okay, no problem. Just hold on. I will talk to the Mr. Harry Spice. All right, Matthew. Thank you so much. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, sir. What's your name, sir?
My name is Mike, change advocate.
Mike.
I don't know.
Well done, sir. Talk to me, sir.
Yeah, first of all, I want to clear an impression you gave on Friday about me. You called me a senior advocate of Nigeria. I don't know, you might be joking, I don't know, but I'm not a senior advocate of Nigeria. I'm a civil society advocate. Like your president who said, before you put me into trouble.
I was kidding, but talk to me.
I know, but you know, the whole world is listening. I don't want to be an imposter.
Okay,
then,
sir.
back to the subject of the day. You heard Majid said it from the introduction that some people are skeptical about donating blood because when they go there, they come back with another disease. And also, people get transfused and they end up getting other diseases from the blood they receive. Well, I'm someone who does not believe in solving one problem to create another. And from the religious aspect, you said, life is the main source of blood, and God said we should not tamper with blood. Originally, from the beginning, when the time of Noah, it was after the time of Noah that humans were allowed by God to eat animal flesh. And when he was giving humans the opportunity to eat human flesh, he said the blood, they should slaughter and put the blood on the ground, dig the ground, put the blood back and cover it. Humans are not allowed to eat blood. That is from God's standpoint.
All right, Mike. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
I'm William Samuel from Namaraga.
All right, Samuel, talk to me.
Yeah, I want to appreciate the program that I think.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to see the God give the strength to consider the program.
Amen. Thank you. Yeah. All right, we're going to... Sir?
I just want to say, in case someone needs blood, I'm a group all naked.
Okay. case someone needs blood, you're a group O negative.
Yes.
All right, Samuel, I'm going to take down your details and I will pass that down to the
You can actually.
yes, or you can actually walk right into the MBTS
Yes,
and
center.
just
think
donate blood.
They are located at 39 Abidjan Street,
Yes.
Wuse Zone 3.
They are in Zone 3, 39 Abidjan Street. Okay? 39
Abidjan.
Abidjan Street, Zone 3.
Wuse.
Okay.
Wuse Zone 3, yes. Thank you so much, Samuel. God bless you so much.
Welcome.
All right, Samuel.
Okay.
Hello? Okay, so in response, we're still talking about how, for some adherents of some faiths say they don't want to take blood, or we're not supposed to tamper with blood, or a lot of conversations going on blood. So isn't the sanctity of life, doesn't it take priority over that over faith?
Well, the issue of faith is not something you can explain with semantics, really. It's a thing of the mind. It's a conviction. It's a belief. It's a belief in the intangible, the unseen, the unheard, the unspoken. So
let me put this in perspective.
yes.
I'm driving somewhere and I encounter an accident, and I say, a good Nigerian, I help and take them to the hospital. Now, should the doctor ask what faith is he or she from before helping out with the blood transfusion?
Yes, because even in medical practice, you have to the patient has to be told what is to be administered, and he or she.
The patient is awake.
What I just said.
If the patient is unconscious and needs blood immediately to revive the person, is the conversation going to be?
I'm only talking about the person's faith, not this emergency situation per se. Look,
no,
the faith.
I want to know whether now the choice of saving the patient.
If somebody's unconscious,
yeah,
you don't know the person's faith, so you can go ahead and treat, for example. But I know that before certain major medical procedure, you have some documentation. The parent or the family comes.
Yes, patient, doctor.
Whatever. But what I'm just saying in essence is, see, this is faith. They don't accept, they don't donate. It's not if they accept and refuse to donate. So you see, they don't want. They rather probably give up than accept blood because it's faith.
Okay.
That's why I said, look, the conversation should be intra-faith. Look, it has to come from within. Of course, I've always said it that religion, organized religion, is a subjective interpretation of faith in itself. So for them, this is what it is. So if there is to be a change from that, it has to come from within because they trust each other, they trust each other's judgment. The leadership of that faith group, that organization, is supposed to now sit down probably. If to them they have come to a new realization, it happens in almost all religious groups anyway.
Okay. Now, I'm still going to be asking you this, Maji. In other climes, I have traveled and I have seen that one of the things that the government of some other countries, more developed countries, what they do is that they have instilled in their citizens this philosophy or this theory of being a blood donor, so much so that it has become a part of who they are, that you actually register and be a blood donor, in so much as when you go to work, even in your offices, one of the first things that you'll be asked is, are you a blood donor? They have made it look, or rather it has become a culture that people are either blood donors or not. So wherein people are blood donors, once you just get to the hospital, you are asked, or the hospital can feel free to call you and say, sir, we have an emergency, come in and take blood. Now someone asked that, you see, the government we're talking about funding, is the government going to buy the blood? But I'm asking, can't the Nigerian government also, in setting up structures, and like I said earlier, in creating a safe environment for donors, set up or rather drive a philosophy where Nigerians, number one, feel free to be voluntary donors, in that, we have, just like we have our national ID card, it will be part of our orientation to become blood donors, because there's a reason why you put your blood group on your ID card or your driver's license or your national passport, international passport, is so that in case of emergency, they would know, or someone can, you can be can be identified that the person is so and so blood group, so the person can be helped. Now, I am also asking, is it not possible for us to also make it so that someone can write on your driver's license, blood donor, yes, not blood donor, no, you know, for certain reasons?
Well, the countries you're talking about, where this is like a culture, where blood donation is like a civic duty, voluntary civic duty anyway, but that everybody tries as much as possible to part of participate in. You will also discover that it's not just blood donation, for example. Any form of humanitarian voluntary service is seen as a national pride. Everybody must partake in. It adds to your credibility as a citizen. It adds to your credentials as a potential leader. You know, a lot of people do voluntary services in those countries. Like humanity or humanism is the philosophy, the foundation of such societies. So I think in bringing it to Nigeria, we have to take it as a collective and a holistic thing, not just even restricted to the blood donation, because blood donation is just one aspect of humanitarian civic duty. So I think it would be nice to see both the government and the people coming together to make a decision to say, look, our society should become more humanitarian in all aspects. People voluntarily taking in orphans, people voluntarily taking care of the old and the sick. You see people, you know, volunteering to help flood victims and such other natural disasters. So blood is just one of such humanitarian activities. So I think it has to be a holistic solution, really.
But you know, looking at it from this point of view, isn't it going to be possible if the government starts by itself, with itself?
Of course, government has to show example.
For example, the ministers can all say, you know, in solidarity for this movement, we all declare ourselves blood donors, you know, to show as a good example. Because you see, without setting up this, whether these structures are physical or just mental, you know, or just psychological, when the government needs to support by saying it is an okay thing to do, and then we take it down to the grassroots to also say, you know, FBOs, faith-based organizations, you know, civil organizations, have a meeting with your people and have a meeting with your different groups and explain this. I think that the government should be able to make it a priority, so we can, I mean, it's something that can be solved easily. It's just 1% of the population. If 1% of, just 1% of the population can be voluntary blood donors, we will be able to take care of the situation.
Sure, because people in government are usually role models. That's why they are elected popularly by popular vote to go into offices, public offices. So they are naturally have following, they have people that believe in them. And so if they demonstrate this, a lot of people that believe in these people will follow suit. And religious leaders too, religious leaders. That's for religious faith that do not prohibit, whose doctrine do not prohibit blood donation or transfusion. Should also come out to say, no, our faith does not, it's allowed, it should be encouraged. But some people that are a bit confused, they are undecided. They do not know, even if they don't even know if their own the faith that they profess. They don't know the clear position of their faith on this issue. So charismatic religious leaders who have large following can also participate in by alongside government by showing good example to the people on how to be, you know, how do you call it? You know, humanism, how you should be each other's brother's keeper by donating blood to save lives. Because life, as we all agree, blood, the tradition and most of life itself.
Apart from just donating blood, part of the things that can be gotten from blood, it's not just blood itself. For example, sickle cell, you know, patients, sickle cell soldiers, like I would like to call them, they get platelets. They get over 5 things from the blood itself. So it's not just about just donating blood. And even organ donor, you see, I don't even want to eat, because if we even go to donating of organs, I don't think that we have come up to that place where we accept it as a culture in Nigeria, where we start to, because kidney, liver donation and all that, you know, I have seen documentaries, you know, watched in different parts of the world where, like I said, you know, it's part of their culture. You know, if you're a donor means you donate, you can donate anything. And in the event of death, all those things will be harvested and given out to different people. You see, so one of the things I'm asking, apart from government, as citizens, what part do we have to play in this whole rhetoric?
Okay, this is directed at me.
Yes, Harold.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, to be fair to Nigerians, they've actually overwhelmingly shown this culture of voluntary donation. You'll be surprised that the bulk of collection, of blood collection for the MBTS come from faith-based organizations, churches, mosques, or creates. Yes, like churches and mosques especially create platform where the NBTS people come to collect blood from their worshippers, from people that that attend, members of the churches as well as the mosques. So you can say, and we also have a large group of walk-in donors, people like this gentleman that come from Guarimpa that wants to donate. People walk straight to the MBTS offices and donate blood. So we already have that culture in us, and it's one of the integrated.
Are you going to call it a culture, or are you going to call it a personal decision? Because it's becoming
a culture. People are proud to display that they are blood donors. In those days, people shy away from donating blood. As we speak, Nigeria's highest blood donor, John Akpan, I think he has donated over 50 times. It's a young Nigerian, barely 35 years.
How did you measure this standard? In MBTS?
Yes.
Because I know I have donated much more than that.
More than 50?
I have, yes.
With the MBTS?
Not with the MBTS, but I have donated much more than that.
Because if you should have been documented if you've donated with the MBTS.
I have donated much more than that.
Okay, that's in Nigeria. I think it's over 50. He's donated over 50 times, and he's Nigeria's highest blood donor.
Officially, right?
Officially, because it's the MBTS that gives. He donates with the MBTS. Okay. So they have a measuring tool to say, okay, this guy is the highest blood donor, and he's been doing this consistently since the last 10 or 20 years.
But what's the assurance for the blood donor that your blood will not be, because blood is not supposed to be sold?
This is where government needs to come in, and that's why we have the NBTS. You donate blood voluntarily, and it's expected that those who access the blood should get it for free.
Matthew called in and said that he is the different blood group with his wife, and his wife is currently pregnant in the hospital.
So what?
Can't Matthew donate blood? No, I'm just saying, can't Matthew donate blood? And then the hospital in turn, because he doesn't have for now, he said he doesn't have the money to be able to pay, and for the wife's blood. So can't he donate his own blood? And in exchange, this is just me speculating. And in exchange, the hospital can give him blood, the same blood group for his wife.
You don't have to even donate before you get blood for your patient. If we all have voluntary blood donors, blood will be available in the banks. Just go to the MBTS center with prescription from hospitals and access this blood at minimal token. Then take to the hospital. He now, as a donor, can take his red card, I think they call it red card, and go to NBTS. I'm a donor, my wife needs blood, and this is our blood group. He'll be giving blood.
I'm going to hand this young man over to you, sir.
Yes, as we speak.
Yes.
Go to 39 Abidjan Street. That's where their office is located. Yes. Go with your green card, with your doctor's prescription that you need blood for your wife. They will give you. They exist for the people. People come in to donate voluntarily. So it's expected that you need blood. Come take it and take this blood.
Why is it that he can't do the same thing at the hospital? Why is it that the hospital is selling the blood?
That is where we as advocates need to rise up against this Shylock mentality of our hospitals. Why do you have to sell blood? People donate blood. If you say, okay, I'm a family donor, why do you have to say I should pay for blood? Because I needed blood. And there is a provision for blood at the blood center.
All right, let's take a few more calls. Hello? Yes, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
My name is Anne Imo, calling from Nigeria.
All right, Anne, talk to us.
Yeah, I'm talking about the blood transfusion. When we give people blood,
yes,
when we give people blood, they do sell the blood to the people that they are donating it to, which is very, very wrong.
Yes.
Because we that is donating the blood, we are donating it for free. We are not selling the blood to them. So they are not supposed to be selling the blood.
All right. right, and thank you so much for that. We have a time to take a few more calls. 081 8999 1011. One more time, 081 8999 1011. You were saying, Mr. Harris White.
Yes, responding to the lady from Suleja.
Yes, Anne.
Yes, Anne. You know, they at the NBTS they don't sell blood. You know, you only pay minimal access charge or fee.
What is the minimum access charge?
I think it's around 2,000 or 3,000 naira.
Oh, just hold that thought. Hello.
It's important.
Hello.
Yes. Hi. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Onar.
Your name is
Onar.
Onar.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me.
What I'm trying to say about the blood. Some many people when you take the blood in the hospital, it's me. I used to cover these people. They sell the blood.
Oh, I'm sorry, Onar. I have to cut you off. Network is interfering. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
My name is Joseph.
Okay, Joseph.
I'm calling from Wisetu.
All right, talk to me, sir.
Yes, I'm listening to the program now, and I have experience about that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because sometime around last year, October, when my wife was about to deliver, so I was asked to donate blood. I donated blood, and they still charged me 7,500. I don't want to mention the hospital. So is it right like that?
Wow.
I donated blood for my wife who was about to give birth. So, and they still charged me 7,500.
Is it to screen the blood?
They just tell me that I should pay 7,500, which I did. I paid and I still donated the blood. At the end of the day, the blood was not used for my wife.
I'm very sorry about that, sir. Yes, I'm listening.
Yes. So at the end of the day, the blood was not used for my wife. So that's why the blood just go and the money just go like that.
All right, sir. Just keep listening. We'll address that issue.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. One more call. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, can you turn down the volume of your radio set?
Good morning. My name is Ola.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Okay, I'm hearing you, Ola. Ola, where are you calling us from?
From Usetu.
All right, talk to me, Ola.
A similar thing with last caller call. A friend of mine want to donate. We went to hospital in the set of my own child. So there is a child there need the blood. So the man who with me run to the blood donors. They want to donate blood. So they asked him to pay 6,500 to stain his own blood before donation, and he want to give the blood free. In result of that, he cannot pay the money.
So he did not donate the blood again?
Yes. They asked him to pay 6,500 to stain his own blood before taking.
Okay.
So please,
yes, we will address
do something, my brother.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much. Yes, a final contribution to this before we wrap up.
Okay, I am trying to address some of the misgivings raised by callers. You know, at the NBTS, they don't sell blood. They charge a minimal access fee to access this blood. For instance, let me take you...
Why do you think they charge that access fee?
Now they need to take care, they need to process the blood so that it can be free of all the infection, you know, the transmissible infectious diseases, as the case may be. And I gathered that it costs like 100,000 to screen a pint of blood. 100,000 naira. It's proven that you need like 100,000 naira to screen a pint of blood.
That's equipment worth or materials worth?
Yeah, you need the material you need to screen a pint of blood is about 100,000. Nigerians were not feeling the burden because the American government was
shouldering it.
Yes, but now that has stopped. And that is why there's a crisis, I'm sure, with the NBTS. They can't afford that because the Nigerian government is not helping matter. There's no investment in that region. You understand? So it's difficult for the NBTS to survive with 28 million naira to do this.
Okay, now this the last caller had a conversation where he said that, you know, if a walk-in donor
Yes.
was unable to donate blood because the hospital did not accept his blood unless he paid for the screening.
That is why the government must rise up to stop that criminalization of blood services. With an empowered NBTS, you don't have to pay for blood. Hospitals don't have to charge you. I'm sure there can be more, you know, scientific setup by that of government. There is more than that of government. The NBTS is mandated by government. So I see no reason why hospitals will also want to rescreen what came from a
The
government
NBTS.
institution.
So the MPT is supposed to supply both public and private hospitals.
Yes, that is the idea. As a Nigerian, you are entitled to blood when you need it, provided it's given, a prescription is given by the doctor.
Okay.
You understand?
All right, final words, Majid, before I know this is not political. It's not political.
No, we are all human. We are all. I mean, we are all.
You basically sat this one out, Majid.
We are human beings. We should always feel for each other. And in that spirit, as I earlier said, both government and people should come together and evolve and subsequently imbibe the culture of humanitarian services to each other. Humanism should take place, should relegate all other constitutions, really, because we are all ultimately descendants of the same ancestor. We are one people, so we should feel free. And since blood is key, is fundamental to life, we should feel free to give life to one another, to elongate each other's life, to heal each other by the
All
love
right.
of blood.
The culture of love is one that we must imbibe, as donating blood is one of the highest forms of love. Knowing fully well that you can donate to anybody and that the blood that you donate can save anybody, anywhere, irregardless of tribe, religion, culture, race, anything. Blood is blood and blood is life. This is one thing we preach right here at Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. Everybody is one. And we are all united together as a country to make sure that we all progress. It has been a wonderful time on the X-Ray right here, talking about blood donation challenges with affordability and supply. I do hope that, you know, the government is listening and they are able to, you know, help set up structures and environments that would enable some sort of progress in this sector or in this issue. Thank you so much, Majid Dahiru, for being right here in the studio and making us have a great show. Even though it wasn't your topic today, don't worry, God willing, tomorrow you'll be more involved. Mr. Harris Spice, thank you so much for also being a great part of this conversation.
Thank you very much, Tracy.
To my producer, Mr. Ali Hakim, to Daniel Livingstone. I'm started calling you Donald. You keep wearing that docking dock. To Mr. Daniel Livingstone. Okay, you have to bribe me this time around. To my cameraman, also to my visual manager, Mr. Ibrahim Alu, to Mr. Tawase Ted, to Mr. Wealth Ominabo, my research assistant, to my ICT manager, Mr. Polimo. Thank you so much for the whole crew making sure that all this has come to a beautiful beginning and end. It has been a wonderful time. My name has been Tracy, and I say bye-bye.